What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Wait, What Are We Talking About podcast, episode 152. My name is Bret, aka Enigma9011. You can catch this podcast live over on twitch.tv/Enigma9011, usually every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. You join the chat, join in the conversation. We'd love to have you in on all the fun. But if you can't catch it live, that's A-OK. Just go over to YouTube and podcast services the very next week, or drops topic by topic, and just put as one big video in MP3 the following Friday. And last but not least, merch store. Get all of your swag over there, t-shirts, cups, backpacks, and more. Rep the brand, support us. We'd love you for it. And remember, guys, you can support pretty much any way. Merch is not the only way. Any big, small way you can find. Liking, sharing, reviewing, all that jazz wherever you're taking in this content. May seem small, but it does go a long way. So we would appreciate you doing that wherever you may be finding us. So yeah, another solo podcast today, and the following podcast will be solo. We'll start getting some guests back in after that. You might be able to hear Moose purring right now, so I guess he technically counts as a guest, as I feel like I'm going to sneeze. Today, two topics. We're going to talk some more wrestling. As last night, I was able to attend Monday Night Raw, and boy howdy, was it a fun one. I had the go-home show for Survivor Series as of recording coming up this Saturday. And yeah, so this is the last Raw, and we kind of got a little bit more building onto the stories, or at least that last bit, going into the pay-per-view or premium live event, whatever you want to call it, as well as some kind of new stuff that they're trying to tell on the side and kind of set up, I guess, for down the road. And yeah, I just want to talk about my experience at the live event, I guess, itself. Over the past couple podcasts, you guys may have noticed that I've been going to more wrestling events. This was the last one. Not ever, but just out of the 3 of 3 that I had planned, this was the final. So we had AEW back in September. We had Bound for Glory in October. And then now being November, we had Monday Night Raw. So I got to see all the companies in some various fashion. And each show was great, and we've talked about the other two. And I will say this one was no different. It was definitely a blast. Had a good time. Overall, there were some things that maybe could have gone better, which we'll talk about. But let's talk about the experience overall, I guess, as Moose headbutts you. Watch your ears. So, yeah, I'll kind of encompass everything, I guess, before we get into the full card of what and whatnot of the actual show. So venue itself, I will say the arena does a great job of staying organized and their flow of traffic when it comes to security, tickets, all that jazz. So nothing wrong there. This was the same venue they did the AEW show, so it was interesting to kind of see the comparisons of how they would handle this. I will definitely say this seemed like a bigger turnout than AEW. Granted, WWE's been around for however long, and their product is aimed generally at a different audience, which you could definitely tell from the crowd and the participants. Definitely was more families, as I saw quite a few kids and heard quite a few kids, which isn't anything bad, just it definitely was filled out better than AEW was. Both shows I was on TV side, so pretty much the camera sees you on television. And for the AEW show, going across the way on the hard cam side, those seats were pretty vacant. As for the WWE show, I feel they were filled out majority-wise throughout the arena. Pretty full. So, good on them. Good selling. Even though it seemed like promotion and advertisement came later down the line, at least from what I was hearing on radio stations, etc. But they had a good turnout. And like I said, security and all that ticket check went very, very well. Let's talk about merch, because all 3 wrestling shows that I have gone to in the past 3 months, and I guess, granted, even before that, merch isn't the greatest. I did get some merch at this show, along with the others, but it is the common mob mentality, just get in this group and fight your way to the front. Unfortunately, it's not going to change. I remember this being the same way as a kid, where you're just kind of standing there and you're hoping you're inching forward. Not the best. I mean, it seems like it does go real fast once you finally do get up to the front, but that battle to get up there, boy, does that feel like it takes forever. I probably stood in line, I don't know, maybe a half hour, if that. I don't know. I didn't really time myself, but it took a while. So yeah, the mob thing sucks. There's no official lines. And then this goes for all the events. I feel like they need to invest in, and if they do, they don't do a great job. I feel like these kind of events, and I guess concerts could be similar, but I feel like concerts have more people that are in tune with the product. It does not seem like any representatives at the merch booths know anything, at least in terms of what they are selling. Everything is labeled alphabetically, which is fine. It makes a hopeful, easier recognition of like they want this product in this size, this product this size. But it doesn't. At least this show and then the Impact show, people seemed lost behind the merch of like, I don't know what you're talking about. If people mention names, like some people in the crowd, or the audience rather, did not use lettering, and they're like, oh, I want the Fiend thing, I want the Matt Riddle thing. It's like, you got to know your audience, but I feel like obviously, well, that's the audience you're dealing with, so if they don't notice, or it's just another way to translate, obviously, and communicate. So I feel if they had people that were not destined, like, you're our fucking merch people. You go show to show with us, know the product, know what you're selling. I think it would just make it a smoother process overall. But yeah, that was a journey. And man, was I hearing it from people behind me, just like how upset they were. Yes, designated people. Thank you, Pi, for like, this is your role. Know what you need to know. Instead of either it being the arena specific staff or, I don't know, Joe Schmo off the street. And granted, like I said, they could have hired these people and they are their designated people for that. If it is, oof. But yeah, it is, I agree, Papa Griff. It's more than likely the local arena staff. And I just think that would be a smart investment from a, not venue, but exhibitor. I don't know. The show, the company. I feel like that would be a good thing to invest in. Whether it's more people behind the merch area or just people who are knowledgeable of your product and are able to be more effective and efficient with it. AEW had their faults as well. AEW only had one merch store at this same venue, while WWE had two. I did not realize they had the second one until later when I took a tactic to get food. But that one was definitely at least less packed. But maybe that was just me passing it quickly. It may have been just like, oh, it looked like it was less. But I feel like that would be more efficient. I get the lines thing, especially in a venue like that. That's hard to kind of control, because if you put up more barricades, it's just going to create more traffic, which isn't great, especially for that amount of people that are moving. But I don't know. It's nitpicky things. Like I said, some people around me were very adamant and upset about it. They did have one tool that was kind of handy. You could scan a barcode on the left-hand side and kind of like pick out your merch that way and pick it up later. The family behind me attempted to do that, and then apparently the QR code wasn't working, so bitch, fuck, blah, blah, blah. It's just like, calm down. You're going to get your stuff. You're going to get your snacks. You have plenty of time. Shut up. But just a takeaway from these events, something that could be done better. So got to the venue with plenty of time. Doors opened at 6. Show started at 7:30. They did a little pre-show. They did main event, which they tape prior to Raw. So main event I haven't watched in ages, and it's kind of one of those extra shows that, and do they still do WWE Superstars? I don't know if they do. 2 matches. We got to see Alba Fire from NXT taking on Tamina. Alba would take the win here. Cool to see her in person, formerly known as Kaylee Ray. And then we had Grayson Waller, also from NXT, taking on Akira Tozawa with a new persona, going back to more of his, I guess, original gimmick, which is hard to explain. I guess just himself, instead of the ninja character. Both of them had a good fight back and forth. Akira would take the win, I think, not with a roll-up, but something sneaky, because Grayson would complain afterwards and then jump him. So yeah, great to see Tozawa's not a ninja anymore. I mean, if he was having fun with it and he was fine with it, good for him. But, you know, I did enjoy his previous persona. We'll talk a little bit more about Tozawa later as he does pop up on Raw and makes me scratch my head. So we got to the live show from there. 3 hours of wrestling. So we had a nice surprise as Kevin Owens, who returned on Friday, would come out for a promo and was joined by the Brawling Brutes along with Drew McIntyre, who happened to be entering from staircase just left of my section. So we got to see all of those guys cross and go down to the ring. They get called out by Judgment Day, and we get the impromptu usual shtick 3v3. So Brutes were versus Judgment Day. This was a good match. I will say one thing I noticed, this kind of ties into the main event thing. So from an AEW standpoint, watching, when they're taking bumps, man, you hear the ring. Even I was way up higher for that show. I felt you could hear the impact of hits and the ring way more in that show than you could hear. Maybe it was just more of the main event. The main event programming. This match felt a little bit better with that, but like you barely heard anything for those first two matches. This one you felt a little bit more, or heard a little bit more. I think the groups did well performing here. We would have the Brutes take it after a little bit of interference from the OC of just literally coming out and going, hello, and blocking the way from Dominic making his escape. But yeah, we would have the good guys pick up, so probably going to lose to Bloodline unless some hocus pocus shenanigans happen with the Sammy KO situation or whatever it might be. But they have the upper hand going into War Games. We'll see if the opposite momentum hits them there. Going to be curious to see what the follow-up with this is afterwards. Owens claims to be wanting to go after Reigns, which I'd be fine with. But it also seems like him and Balor obviously have some beef after the stunner hit on him prior to or after Owens leaving commentary. All right, and then we got my most exciting moment of the night until they crushed it. So it was supposed to be Johnny Gargano versus The Miz. And I was like, oh shit, Gargano's here. Great. New theme song. Not great. Not great. It's kind of like a revamped version of the Rebel Heart theme that he has had. Personally, I hated it. Doesn't sound very catchy at all or really good. So he's supposed to fight Miz. Miz comes out, oh, I hurt my hand. And then he's like, but don't worry, I'm a bad guy. I got somebody for you. And I'm over there, and I'm like, it can't be Ciampa. Ciampa's hurt. Ciampa's out. I'm like, because that would have made me freak out if Ciampa came out and then those two were going to battle it out. But no, it was Omos, and I rolled my eyes so hard in the back of my head, I saw my tiny, puny brain. And I knew, oh crap, the moment I've been waiting for of seeing Johnny Gargano wrestle live is about to turn into a squash match. And did it. I will say, Omos, holy shit, you are tall. No shit. Didn't really need to say that out loud, but damn. Yeah, so Johnny didn't really last super long. He attempted some stuff, didn't work out great. Omos picks up the win, even with some interference from The Miz against him. Yeah, okay. Then we got a Seth Rollins promo. Oh, sorry, a Seth frickin' Rollins promo. Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? That's what I'll probably say about this whole feud as we are leading into a triple threat for this Saturday for the U.S. Championship, as Seth is going to defend against Austin Theory and Bobby Lashley. So Seth does this whole promo, blah, 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 don't deal with me. And then Theory's watching the promo and goes into his own promo afterwards about, his new look on life, I guess, and how failure is going to make him better, which I like Theory, so I'm hoping for some good stuff here. He goes on to have a match against Mustafa Ali. Both of them do great. Theory's going to pick up the win here. Obviously, needs some momentum. R.I.P. Mustafa. And then Bobby Lashley comes onto the television or the big screen and is like, okay, yo, bitch, I see you in the ring. I'm angry at you. I'm going to come beat you up. Don't be a coward. And then we get into my criticisms of the show, or at least the second one. So Bobby calls him out, says, I'm going to be right out there to whoop your butt. So you think, oh, Bobby's literally going to come out right now and he's going to fight him. No, we went to commercial and Bobby took a 10-minute Uber ride from his hotel to get over to fight Theory. Such a weird move. Theory's just standing there in the ring as, you know, the arena's in commercial break, drinking some water, hanging out, all that jazz. Then we come back and Lashley comes out and they just brawl for a little while. Theory hits him with a chair, I believe. Bobby no-sells it. Theory ends up running, throws Mustafa Ali in the way. Bobby first kind of says he's sorry, then Mustafa pushes him, and then Bobby smashes him into the Tron and gives him the Hurt Lock. Is Bobby supposed to be a good guy here? Because, like, we go back to the Brock Lesnar match at Crown Jewel. Now, you guys know my feelings about Brock Lesnar. Don't like him. I mean, he's great as a performer and all that jazz, and I get the highlight thing, but I just hate whenever he's in title picture, even though he's not now. So I'm just kind of sick of it. So Lashley and him have a fight. Brock picks up the win via the weird body weight off the corner thing. And then Lashley proceeds to beat him up afterwards. Okay, cool. Bobby's turning bad guy again. Whatever. Great. But the audience was hype as shit for Bobby when he's on the prompter and when he enters. I get it. Bobby's a specimen. I'm not a fan of Bobby's characters, but it's a similar thing of like, I respect your work and you can do it well. I just really don't care about you. So then he comes out, he's, you know, we presume he beating up Theory, and then he's beating up Mustafa afterwards. What are you doing? This guy's just there. He just lost the match. Like, let him be. Like, now he seems like the asshole. So, not sure how I'm supposed to read that situation. I don't really care. Bobby, I don't care about winning on Sunday. I assume Rollins going to retain. But I'd be fine with Theory winning. A little weird on the failed cash-in to follow up, but, you know, whatever. Okay, then we get a weird tag team match, but I guess because Orton is out, we get Matt Riddle and Elias beating the Alpha Academy. Fun match here. Got decent amount of time. That's about it. We had some fun interaction with the crowd between Otis and Chad Gable throughout the match. I don't know how many commercial breaks were through that, but good stuff there. And, yeah, crowd seemed into it. Riddle's very popular. Who would have thought? All right, and then we had Drew McIntyre versus Baron Corbin because reasons. Another match that was fine. Good back and forth. I don't know what they're doing with the character of Baron Corbin. They've kind of thrown him with JBL as a manager here. I don't know what the agenda or the end goal of this is. I know a lot of rumors were swirling around that maybe he's going to go back to the Lone Wolf character after this whole Happy Corbin and Bum Corbin thing. But he kind of just seems the same with just JBL in his corner. So I don't know if it was just to build his confidence back up or what the deal is. I don't get it. So Drew's going to take it after a little bit of a distraction by Akira Tozawa. Hey, we talked about that guy before. So I mentioned Akira Tozawa's going back to his old gimmick. Now he's been a ninja for a couple of years, and he's been in this comedic role with the 24/7 championship. So I thought, oh, okay, we're going to make Tozawa more serious. No, he comes out, he jumps on the announce table and, like, I think he did dance or something, jumps onto JBL, steals JBL's hat, then runs away. This all causes distraction, and then Drew's able to take advantage with the Brogue Kick. Interesting. So, I don't get it. Yeah, Tozawa's a good good talent, and like I said, I really enjoyed his original debut and stuff back with the Cruiserweight Classic. If you guys haven't watched that, we'll check that out. Didn't have a lot of personality, I guess, at that point, but I don't know. He could go hard strikes, stuff like that. So I thought he's cool. But yeah, I'm confused once again why he's still comedic in this juncture, but maybe it's the personality thing. Who knows? And then I guess it was the night of backstage interviews because we had the OC talking with what's her name? Kathy Kelly for a little while, and then Judgment Day kind of jumped them. We got a little brawl outside in the parking lot, so that was a little haha, we see the arena, oh my god. That was kind of fun there. But that turned to absolutely nothing. And then we had our main event of the match. So it was Rhea Ripley versus Asuka to earn the War Games advantage for the respective teams. And while I was very excited for this match because I enjoy both talents very, very much, this was an interesting match. Let's start with how they entered. Didn't come out to their own entrance themes. Well, I guess Rhea technically did, but they came out in their squads, which I guess I get. You got to build up the War Games. It's coming up Saturday, premium live event. Go subscribe to Peacock, all that jazz. And they just trash talk, right? Bianca comes out, and this is where the crowd hated the show. Comes out, says, we're ready for War Games, we're ready for war, blah, blah, blah. And when you see our 5th member on Friday night, bro, everybody boo, pissed off, annoyed, because, well, this is a Raw storyline. We thought we were going to get our conclusion here. The men would have whatever send-off they'd have on Friday. Man, that's a disappointment. So we still don't know who the 5th lady of the Good Gals team is. I think this, I would say Candace, but I don't know if Candace is a big enough, excitement level. And not because, anything against Candace, just in the general scheme of things, audience-wise. She's just been introduced to the main roster. She got taken out by Damage Control. So, question mark there. There's rumors swirling around that Becky's fine. That could be a decent pop. I get that. Sasha's another one, but then also Sasha's done. That the mystery of her and Naomi continue to swirl. Will it be Beth Phoenix? I think Beth Phoenix would be cool and a good exciting pick and makes sense obviously for the storyline with Ripley and obviously her getting attacked. However, I think logically they would hold on to that and then do the mixed tag thing of Finn and Rhea against Edge and Beth. But I don't know. I'd be fine with it. That would be fun. That would be exciting. So we'll see, I guess, on Friday of who that is. But didn't put us in the great mood for this final match. So they come out, they do their trash talking. We're about to ring the bell, and then they did it again. We went to commercial, and the ladies just doop-a-doop-a-doop, standing in the ring, killing time. Asuka was doing great, dancing to the crowd and, riling them up there. And Rhea was being Rhea and being the heel on the outside. At one point, she, faked a high five with a kid and then was like, oh, no, you're so sad, and did the crying thing. So she's really eating up the heel role. But yeah, they were literally ready to fight. And then, oh, nope, sorry, we're gone. We're gone. And we don't ring the bell until another however many seconds. But still, felt like an eternity. At least from an audience perspective, and just you were ready. So Rhea would eventually win this match in a very slow and methodical pace match, which I guess I could say overall throughout the night felt definitely, from a pacing standpoint from the other companies, definitely felt lower, which I get. They're doing more shows, so you kind of have to be a little bit more conservative with certain things, and you're leading into a pay-per-view, so play it safe. So Rhea would take the win here after a little bit of shenanigans from Damage Control and Nikki Cross. And then we get the big brawl to finish it out. Overall, how was the show as a go-home show? I think it was okay. I don't think it was the best show. Does that mean I regret going or anything like that? No, absolutely. I still had a great time. I had fantastic seats. I was completely surrounded, but I had very nice people around me. I had two, I'd say, a little bit younger than me guys next to me, and joked around with them a few times. And then I had a family to my right with a younger kid who was hilarious and just really into it the entire time. So seat-wise was perfect and everything like that. Didn't have a bad situation there. But thinking back to it, nothing like super exciting happened. Like I said, I was stoked to see Gargano. I was stoked to see a lot of these talents, especially the NXT talents I've been watching for years and years, be on this stage. But yeah, just looking back to it, like, yeah, nothing really happened. I wish some things, I guess I wish we could see. I wish there was more Damage Control. No Damage Control merch at all at the merch stand. Boo. Wish we got to see more of them. Just a quick brawl at the end wasn't all that exciting. Obviously the Gargano thing, didn't want him to get squashed out. And then, I don't know. I feel like there was some other names that were kind of missing. Obviously Rollins doing the via satellite thing. Would have been cool to see an open challenge, but I guess with their building this program for Saturday, not going to be the case. Yeah, and then looking back, only being 1, 2, 3, 4, I guess it was 6 matches. 6 matches in 3 hours. Yeah, I guess they did get their time. At points, it did feel the drag on, and I'm not sure if that was just the slower pace of the matches. Overall, fun experience to go to. What happened on the show? No dark match after this. So that was literally our ending point, was the brawl. I think they were advertising a Rollins versus Riddle for the U.S. Championship, but as always, card subject to change, so we didn't get that. And then, yeah, obviously we got a lot of ads too. I don't know how many times we showed the War Game commercial during in-betweens. We had some fan cam stuff. They had a Ric Flair fan cam. They had a DX one. They had just had a dancing one. They had a sign one. Showed off a lot of network stuff and kind of advertised that. Some quick little, like Stone Cold questioning whoever his guest was, 30 seconds or name association or whatever. And those were entertaining. But yeah, fun time overall. Glad I had the opportunity to go to these 3 events and kind of taking the product from obviously 3 different standpoints and 3 different companies. If I had to, if I had to rank, I guess, out of the 3, which was the favorite? I would, unfortunately, I think I would say Raw is at the bottom, and that's only from a show standpoint of, like, once again, what happened. I do not regret going. I do not regret anything about the show. It's just like one of those looking back, like, it wasn't anything super memorable. So I would say that's towards the bottom. And then it's kind of a toss-up. It's either the Bound for Glory, where we're literally second row, or it's AEW, where I'm with friends and enjoying the product with them. I think I'd have to put AEW first. Yeah, just for that friend experience of having people around me and the camaraderie and joking around with them. And then Bound for Glory was nuts. Yeah, being second row, I don't know if I'll ever get that opportunity again anywhere. That was insane. I can't imagine, like, that would be one of those things, like, especially for, like, a WWE, for example. You got to save up for that, and you got to be, like, right on top of that stuff to get those tickets. Even just for, the weekly show here. I don't even want to imagine what a pay-per-view would be. That would be something to kind of save up for, prep for, and that would be something insane to do maybe one day. And yeah, so where do we go from here? 3 months, 3 live events. I'm gonna miss it for sure. These were the first wrestling events since when was NXT Brooklyn 1? I think that was the last wrestling event I did go to with Kevin, courtesy of Papa Griff. Brooklyn. I don't want to say 2015, but I feel that's wrong. Oh, no, it was 2015. Yeah, so 2015, these were the first events since then. Yeah, definitely missed going to shows like this, experiencing these things live. So I don't know. I don't know what's next in terms of like, oh, what's the next show you're going to? If I had planned ahead, Survivor Series would have been dope. It's only in Boston, so it's not that far of a drive. But then also Extra Life's coming up, so like that didn't work out. I guess it's just one of those things, like, I just got to keep a better eye on, like, oh, they're over here, they're here, they're whatever. This is the first time they've been in my area. AEW, their first time. Impact, oh boy, I know they were not this exact venue, or that exact venue, but there are a different venue ages and ages ago. I don't know if they've done anything in between that point. Probably. But that was like, wait a minute, you're having one of your biggest pay-per-views here? That's a big question mark. And then WWE has been in a different arena recently, but this was the first time they were at this arena in 3 years, I believe is what they said. So it's tough to say. It's tough to say when exactly they'll be back. Obviously, there are other locations that they do go to more frequently. That's a bit of a drive, and that would be more of a trip or a destination. But maybe there's some things that we'll have to look into. A Rumble someday. Yeah, that would be great. That would be great. Just that atmosphere. The thing is with pay-per-views that kind of, I get from a business standpoint is great, but from a fan experience kind of sucks. And we've talked about this in the past, is the arena layout and design. So, like a Rumble, excuse me, now that they're doing them all in like stadiums, excuse me, I'm not sure if there's really a good seat, I guess you could say, for those, unless you're sitting obviously close up. And it sucks because obviously Rumbles of the past were in, I'd say, similar arena size to what this show was, if not a little bit bigger. And like even, being on that incline, I guess you could say, or that whatever you want to call it, not bad seats. Like the AEW seats, while higher than this show, great seats. Could see everything, could see the entrance rampway, all that jazz. These seats, fantastic, even closer. Had a great shot of the ring, dead center. And then obviously Bound for Glory being right fucking there. With the Rumbles and how they've changed their presentation or like what they're trying to fill, just seeing it from a TV perspective, it's like, man, you on the floor, and we've only had floor once. It was one of those things where I'm like, I'm watching the monitor more than I'm watching them, and they're literally like right there, look down. I feel it would be unfortunately that situation. And then also what's exciting about the Rumble, the countdown, and then seeing who comes out, the entranceway. With this last Rumble, which I bitched about heavily, they have this long entranceway and it hooks. There's a curve in it. Why are you doing that? I should have a clear point of view from ring to entrance, from entrance to ring. Should be that clear line of sight. And unfortunately, these bigger arenas, these stadiums or whatever the hell, it's not great. So, yeah, I'd love to go to the Rumble because that's high energy. Because, yeah, it's fun. It's exciting. There's surprises. Who's next? What's going on? The constant eliminations, whatever. But that's just a worry of mine. And maybe it's, oh, you're bitching now. But once you get there, then obviously, all those feelings go away. Which, I'm sure it will. But it won't matter. Yeah, it's something to definitely plan for. There's the next one's in Texas. We'll have to see maybe where the following one is, but that would be a good one. And it's the same thing with Mania too. Like Mania is like one of those, well, maybe not for some people, but once in a lifetime things. But do I want to be way in the back being like, yeah, you see that ant? Yeah, they did that thing to the other ant. Yeah. Like, I guess you just go for the experience of being there. Maybe not the experience of viewing from that point, but maybe a different pay-per-view where they are still in the more traditional arenas would be more beneficial. I mean, like, because, yeah, okay, I'm going to take all my words back right now and shoot myself in the foot. NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 2015 was amazing. And where were Kev and I? Way up there in the nosebleeds. But that show was awesome. And that is a memory that's always going to stick with me. Like, just amazing. Like, seeing those talents go out there, seeing Jushin Thunder Liger, seeing the ladder match, seeing Bayley and Sasha tear the house down and steal the show. Like, that's something I'm never going to forget. So, yeah, maybe I just backtracked everything I said, but we'll see. We'll see. As for wrestling events, yeah, it's just a matter of planning now, I guess, because I had a great time these past 3 months going to these different events, and we'll have to see what's next. Hopefully it's not another 7-year gap, but who knows. One last thing, I guess, to close out this topic would be a presentation from a company standpoint. So just a small note, and I saw people talk about this online previously, way before going to these events. WWE and AEW are very different in terms of how they are presenting their product, at least from a person in the stands perspective. So AEW, very lively crowd, right? You're chanting, you're standing, you're whooping, you're hollering, all that jazz. And what do people do? Somebody comes out, oh my God, everybody stands up, and we're looking at this person entering, wah-ha-ha. And then for the most part, you sit down, and then if something does happen or tensions rise, everybody's back up on their feet again and they're into it. WWE, same concept. People stood up, but not as many people stood up. Like, I felt there was times I'm like, oh crap, maybe I shouldn't stand right now. But, you know, I did because I wanted to see who they were. So anyways, entrances happen. People stand up to the WWE show. All excited, all excited. The match starts, and it was kind of like a mix. Like if there was a brawl, fight, match was going on, either people would sit down or people would be standing. And mainly it was the floor people that we were still standing. And it wasn't bad, I would say, from our perspective. A little rough from time to time, but not bad. But, just of note, security at the arena, very adamant. Sit down, please sit down, you know, telling people to be seated while the matches were going on. I don't know if this is a WWE specific thing. Granted, I may have not been as attentive during the AEW show towards the ground just because I wasn't as close. But it was just like, interesting, because they didn't do it at Impact for our floor section. And I don't recall seeing that at AEW. So, it just, I guess from a presentation standpoint, they really want everyone there to, I guess, essentially get their money's worth. You paid good money for these tickets. You should be able to see stuff that's going on. So I appreciate it. It was a little like, not oof, but I don't know, yelling at people to sit down. And they weren't aggressive. Man, let's not say that, but just like, they paid their money too, like, and a lot of money to be on the floor. I get it. Thank you for letting me see. I don't know, mixed bags of emotion on that, but just an observation between the shows of like things and how it was handled, I guess. But yeah, that's my experience with Monday Night Raw. Good times. Yeah, we'll have to see when the next wrestling event, at least I attend, is, and I'll have to give you a follow-up on where my ass is sitting down. And